All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to Game and Compute. Here on this podcast, we talk about your finances, side hustles, money, the economy, just kind of what's going on with your wallet. And lately, we've been talking a lot about job and career related content. So on that note, taking some PTO, not a whole lot, but you guys have probably noticed how often I've been taking PTO this summer. Now I want to talk about that. Now, 1 week was because I got COVID. That was about a week I took off. I had COVID longer than a week, but it was about a week that I took off from work. I took work off before the Odessa concert, which was August 12th. So I think I took the 10th and 9th off of August. And now today, it's the end of August. I took a half day today. Almost a half day. Like, I end work at 4, but I actually logged out like a little after 1. I'm gonna go back to work. Today's Friday. I'll be going back to work on Tuesday at noon. I'm kind of limited on my PTO balance right now. I've got like about 33 or so hours, which is like 4 days or so. I'm not used to having so little amount of time available, but I noticed this week, I haven't been sleeping too great, and Thursday and Wednesday I was kind of noticing some kind of bad habits creeping in, where I'm like, dude, I need to just take some days off. I wasn't really too motivated this week. Had a lot of brain fog, a lot of just like, my energy just kind of just went somewhere else. Like, I was pretty pumped on last Saturday. Like pumped in a good way. I was having some C4, worked out, got some little bit of outdoor walking. Sunday I was going to do the same thing, but I think I just didn't sleep good or something. I can't remember what it was, but I didn't really sleep good, probably because of the C4. Woke up late, and I was just lounging. Had a little bit of C4. Had a friend who finished a 50-mile race in Michigan, and me and her were going to talk. I saw that I'd missed a call from her Saturday, and I was like a little not feeling too social. And Sunday I ended up she ended up calling me when I was kind of like sipping a little tad of C4, and I knew it was a bad idea. Both days it was a bad idea. It was too late to have any. Sunday I had some probably around 5 or 6 p.m. It was just a little. I kind of estimated it out. So it was less than 25 milligrams of caffeine. But mind you, I'm very, very sensitive to caffeine. But I was so tired that day. I was like, there's no way I'm going to work out without this. And I'm trying to do like about 2 hours of exercise Saturdays and Sundays. So I was like, man. So my friend called me. And then I was literally laying in bed. This was like probably like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. or something. I'd been up a few hours, but I just kind of like laid back down or something. And I was just like, man, this sucks because I'm going to have to sleep in a few hours, and I got work in the morning. It's going to be Monday. So, that's how the week kind of started. Like, my friend called around maybe 5 or 6 p.m. my time, around when the C4 was starting to kick in. But I was literally in bed, but I was just like, let me talk to her because we were going to talk. And, like lately when I talk to my friends, we spend like about an hour, maybe 2 hours on the phone. Like all of us really miss each other, and it's like, it's really limited with time to spend in person, and everyone's so spread out. But a lot of us keep in touch pretty good. But it is a little time consuming. It means I can't just talk on the phone like whenever. And so texting's a little convenient just for like a little bit of like touch up, kind of like catch up. You're just kind of like, hey, this is what I'm doing today. This is what's up. Like this thing happened, that thing happened. Just fill in like the big pieces. But then eventually we talk, and I'm the one who opened the option to talk on the phone. So she had tried to call me on the way the way back after her race on Saturday. I don't think I saw the call right away. I saw it later, and then I was like, man, and then, because my phone was on like do not disturb, and then Sunday I was like, fine, I'll pick up. And so, I kind of explained, my phone's on do not disturb. I'm struggling, like last week wasn't like the greatest of great weeks. And then coming into this week, that's kind of how it started. It was really good talking to my friend. I talked to quite a few of my friends this week on the phone and texting and catching up and stuff. So that was really nice, but it really threw me through a loop, I think, last week when I went to visit my friend. And I was talking to the old church crew type people that really kind of threw me through a loop, where I was just like, man, like back to these old things. And I was making a lot of decisions about like how I need to socialize, what feels like safe, like energy for me to kind of be around. And so it was a lot. It took a few days out of my energy before last weekend. But yeah, Sunday, when I was talking to my friend, I put in some earbuds and just started like, I was just doing some squats and some, what do you call, like the bicep curls with the bands, and we were just talking and catching up. And I wasn't letting my breathing get too heavy because I was like, I don't want to be like breathing heavy in the phone. That's weird. But yeah, we just caught up and talked a lot, and it was really nice, very refreshing. Really great to hear from friends and stuff. And but yeah, that's how my week started. But I was still pretty exhausted. Saturday was exhausted. Sunday was exhausted. From the week before, was kind of having a little going on from like Wednesday and on. And then my car went back in the shop. I think after like Friday, I was like, I was confirmed before last weekend kind of how, my car really needs to go. I really need to like sell this thing before it doesn't even like work anymore. I need to sell it. Honestly sell it, but I need to get it out of my hands before it just doesn't run. It's got a lot of new parts. Starter is new since this summer. Alternator's new again since this summer. New battery, new terminals, AC's fixed. I cleaned out a lot of the interior, but it's not perfect. It's just better. And yeah, smog check passed. Registration's renewed since the summer. Like everything's pretty set. Just there was some weird issue going on that I need to confirm that it's not happening anymore. And I feel like in idle the car is a little on the rumbly sounding end. But I don't know what any of that is. I just need to get rid of this thing. And I got some money coming in from a bunch of different spots, but in my car, I got it back today. It wasn't really like a big deal what was wrong with it. The same mechanic who fixed it just looked at it for free and was just like, doing me a solid and was just like, yeah, I just put some fluids and like, he checked everything, did some test drives, and everything checked out. And I'm glad he didn't charge me. So that's how my week kind of started, and how it's kind of ending now. It's just been not a lot going. Well, it is a lot going on. Like, I tell myself it's not, but it's kind of a lot for me, honestly. So I've been kind of plowing through, just like, bro, like, so my energy's been off. And like I was saying, like, Wednesday, Thursday, I started making some decisions where I was like, not really working too well. And there were some days, like, earlier this week, where I was like not really reaching productivity, just the brain fog and just the low motivation and kind of not wanting to make the calls and not wanting to really like do too much. I'm just kind of just, it's a lot, to kind of try to have all this, stuff just piling up. But there's a lot of good coming out of it. It just feels like there's one thing after another. And I feel like my friends are experiencing the same things. My experience in LA has been a little weird because, like, a lot of my LA friends, everybody's shifting around, making new moves, like doing different stuff and then working on their passions. People getting into their art, into their music, into their athletics, into their church, youth group, like leading youth groups and stuff, into their golfing, like whatever. Like, people have their passions, but a lot of people I know are underpaid or just like living with family. And my situation in San Diego, what was different was, all my friends were getting licensed and they were all moving into the apartments they want and like getting the different car that they want and like getting condos with their partners and moving in together. And like my crew in San Diego is different than my crew in LA. So it's kind of been different to see, it felt like a lot of pressure when I was like down there. Honestly, it was just like, man, I'm like straggling. It felt like, but a lot of it's fear. I'll be honest. It's not like, easy for me to think about changing a routine that I've been doing for years now. Even though I don't really like the job, it's a routine that I have. I don't do well with that routine, so I really don't want to mess with a solid routine that I have before I develop another one. But I'm totally burning out. I'm like totally, like, that's why I'm taking so much PTO, because I'm starting to like look at my days and I'm like, okay, I'm tired this day. Okay, this day I don't want to go to sleep on time because I just want a couple more hours awake to have some more free time to do what I want, because it's just a drain to have to spend 8 hours working and doing work that I don't really want to do and doing stuff I don't really want to do and having to spend my emotional energy in ways I don't want to. Like, it's interesting, the things that really give me, like, I get hyped up about, definitely podcasting, definitely, my music projects, even like some like random stuff around the house, like cleaning and like fixing little things here and there, like that kind of stuff just really gets my energy focused. And cleaning inside the house, cleaning my car, just things where it's like, yeah, getting the exercise in, just things where I'm just like, okay, I can see that, like, I'm doing a lot, for myself, but I feel like work feels like it's like triple the energy, than anything else. So it's just been a drain. It's like it takes away my energy from doing what I love. Even on my breaks, I notice I'm like working on these like projects and things that I'm very passionate about. And then when I have to start working again, it's like I don't feel that way about my job. I'm not feeling like, oh yeah, I want to wake up and just like work, do this job. I got these goals I'm trying to reach with my clients, and like, it's not like that. It's like, oh man, I hope this session ends on time because I got another one. And it's like, it's just everyone else's problems are like weighing me down. And it's kind of like, dude, I got my own shit I'm trying to deal with. I'm not trying to like deal with everybody else's. So that's what I'm trying to get out of this job. And then just kind of like the more I'm talking to people, I'm hearing about like people I work with working two jobs, and then other you know friends, kind of telling it like it is about certain things about the job and stuff, and like stuff that they've experienced, where I'm just kind of like, man, like I need to get out of there before I get screwed. I feel like people don't talk about it because a lot of us who work in these fields, like, we're big on like confidentiality. We don't really like trash a lot of stuff, but it's like we'll talk to the close people we trust about it. So the more I'm hearing what people are saying, the more it's becoming like a little bit like man, this company doesn't really care for us. I've always kind of noticed this, but it hits me more and more that they kind of take advantage of our nature of compassion, and they just don't pay well and don't really treat us well. Like they don't treat us bad, but they don't treat us what we're worth. I mean, all of us have higher education degrees, and to have to be working two jobs, and working already in one very demanding job is like, people are burning out. I can see it, and it's like, it's creating a toll on all of us. And so I don't know. I mean, the solution is just change jobs, honestly, but it takes so much of my energy to be at this job that it's hard to even change into another job because I don't have the energy to look for other work. I've been playing with the idea of just like working for Uber, Uber Eats or something. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in it. It's just like, right now, I'm like, I don't really have a complete goal. I mean, I've had, the side hustles before that really could sustain me, but I mean, right now, I don't really know the market for stuff. Like, everything's fluctuating so much. It's really hard to be like, I mean, I have the money. The money's there. I wouldn't have to like borrow anything to invest in, a project like that, but I don't know if I could rely on it. Like, the stuff that I do know, that I'm ahead of the curve on, it's just with inflation, and then like how demand is, it's just a lot. So I'm going to take a couple days and like play with some ideas and just recover. And, hopefully when I start back on Tuesday at noon, I'm not going to be, at least as little motivated. I'm trying to spend more energy in doing what I'm loving doing. But yeah, I got some funds coming in from different spots. Got some sales coming up. Got some a CD account that I'm gonna get the funds back from that. What else? Yeah, that's mostly what I've got going on. And yeah, kind of just debating. I've got a bonus coming up in October if I can even last that long at this job. I'm on a fresh paycheck right now, and 2 more weeks I'll get another one. I think I got to take a trip down to San Diego too. I got some stuff to do down there within at least the next 3 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. Can see some friends, and maybe I'll stay 3 or 4 days. I don't know yet. But that would be nice to stay like 3 or 4 days. And then, yeah, I'm just kind of like, I'm not fully bummed, but I'm like a little bit bummed, that I'm like, um, um, just not feeling my chipper self. I'm not unhappy. I'm happy now because I don't have to think about work too much. I mean, I'm thinking about it now, but you know, I guess the food for thought that I came towards today was, you know, well, this isn't really food for thought, but, I need to go on more drives. When it's not the busy time of day, I need to just go on more drives. That really helps me clear my mind. I can think things through really good. Just drive around the city and stuff. I really love doing that. I've missed doing it. I've been avoiding it because gas is so expensive, but I'm like, you know what? I gotta get out every single day, and like, it's good for the car, it's good for myself. I've been staying in a lot too much lately. The weather's been kind of like hot too, but I've been like avoiding the beach a little bit. But now that the schools are back in session, I might get back at the beach some. I I I think I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, I was trying to say like food for thought, but I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, like earlier I was thinking about you know the idea of like wanting something, and when you want something, the process of wanting something is just kind of like a double-edged sword sometimes. Like I think there's like a positive wanting something. There's like, I want this thing because I'm motivated towards it, it's part of my passion, versus like, I want this thing because it's going to make my life happier than what it is now. Like, I feel like that's kind of how I have been viewing work and income and goals that I have. Is kind of like, I want to move towards this stuff because I think it's going to make me happier. But that's not true. It's not going to make me happier necessarily. Like, there's nothing that any different situation can make me happier. Like, I'm trying to get rid of all the negative kind of situations I've been involved with for a while. So, like you guys know, got rid of those roommates. Still haven't gotten back that deposit, but got rid of the roommates. Getting rid of a lot of stuff. Got rid of a lot of my junk. Didn't get rid of the car, but that's kind of going to be in the works very soon. That's what I want to at least start on this weekend, is like figuring out that process, because I've never bought or sold a car. The car that I have now was originally, and my dad bought it, like it was originally the title under him, and he purchased it and everything. And yeah, I'm trying to think. Other stuff about, like, definitely, getting an apartment and stuff. Like, I feel like I'll feel better about myself. Like, that's one thing. Like, I'll feel better about myself. I won't necessarily be happier. It might give me a little bit more confidence. And then as far as, like, the self-made types of work, I get a lot of anxiety around that, because I was doing that kind of stuff before and it was working really well. But when different things happen with the economy, it really screwed what I was doing. Like, at one point, moving away from the border screwed up half of my hustle, and then the tech changing with the iPhone screwed up that hustle, and then um, with the laptops and things, um, just the shipping times and everything during the pandemic screwed up the hustle. And it's just like, do I want to do this again? It's just a lot. Like, those are the things I know. And then the banknotes. I don't really know other products right now. Like, I kind of do, but not really well. Um, so I got to think about some stuff. Um, you know, like, I've got some stuff that's been, like, sustaining itself for a while. But, I don't know. It's kind of scary to try to move something to, like, a different phase when it's, like, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable in the discomfort, It's like, work sucks, I know, was that Blink-182, right? Yeah, it's like, I'm just not used to this. I'm not used to, like, not really liking work as much as I don't like it right now. And then, yeah, just, I don't know. Like, I feel like part of me is, like, stuck between wanting to do things like everybody else, play by the rules like everybody else, do the whole, like, I went to school for this, work in this field, keep going in that direction in the field, but I don't want to be in this field anymore. And then, I thought about the other side of the field that I came from within the same major, and I kind of reached out to a friend about it, and they were kind of, like, negative, in a way. Not negative, just challenging, I guess you would put it, like, challenging. They were kind of, like, questioning, like, how much do you really know about what you're trying to do? And I was just kind of like, I don't know a lot, and I really don't know if I really want to go into that either. When I start thinking about it, I'm like, I really don't want to do any of this stuff. Right now, I don't. Like, I might come back to any of it later, but right now I'm realizing that's not really what I want for myself. So, yeah, it's just a hard road right now, but, yeah, I'm just trying to at least keep the basics on track, and I guess every single time I see things getting off track, I'm just going to have to take days off, because that to me seems like the only way I'm going to be able to sustain myself at this job, is just to take as many days off as I feel like taking while I'm still doing my job. I mean, I finished my work for the month. My work for the entire month is completed, and so since it's done, I don't really feel like obligation to I don't feel obligation to really do, like, more, because I did my work. Like, my work is done, so for the month I reached all the goals, so it's kind of like I feel good about that. I wasn't hitting daily productivity all the time, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hit productivity, like weekly productivity is gonna even out, because I do, like, keep track of the math of it. So I do know that, like, most days I did hit productivity enough that, like, when they calculate week by week, and then when they calculate for the month, I'll hit it every week at least, because they average it out for the week. So I just know some days were, like, surprisingly low. I mean, none of this is like me. None of this is, like, how I usually operate, but it's kind of reminding me of, different times in my life when things just weren't working out because my energy wasn't there. And so I don't really want to completely tank, like, this would not be the ideal time for things to, like, start going south, because I'm trying to, like, not, go in directions that I don't want to go. I'm trying to only go in directions I want to go, but it's kind of hard to, like, do that because my mind doesn't think like everyone else's. Like, I can do the 9 to 5, I can do that, but I do need more accountability. Like, I can't just work for myself without anybody else, needing me to kind of log in, like I log into work, I'm on time. I don't remember the last time I was late logging on. Like I always log on a little early. The only times I feel like when I've been a little late, like a minute or two late, was because of sometimes you need to like get the authentication app updated all of a sudden, and you need that app to log in to get the to the server, so you can actually like send emails to show that you're checked in for the day, and like just stuff like that, just like tech stuff, or like Windows decides it wants to update when you turn on your computer, and it's like, okay, well clearly I'm gonna be late, but stuff like that. But that's not every day. And yeah, just trying to be responsible, trying to do my job right, it's kind of hard too, because it's like I can't really talk about the details too much of like every single thing that's going on. Like that is probably another thing that's just like keeping things way down, because I can't really like I talk about it with my friends, but it's like I want to talk about other stuff too. I'm not just trying to be like talking about my damn job problems all the time. It's like, I like to check in with them and make sure they're cool with stuff, and even if they're not, it's like that's fine too. Like I always wish everybody well, but I know that's not reality. Like we're not always going to be like in the best mood. Like I'm not really in a bad mood, just everything's kind of all over the place. But the most of the time when I am in the bad mood, usually it's when I'm at work. Like other than that, I'm usually like feeling good. Like I mentioned before that I get like irritated after work, because I like, just feel like, oh my goodness, like, so it's kind of hard to be like socializing too much after work, especially with like my family and stuff. I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, dude, I just don't want to talk, it's not that I don't want to talk to my family. It's just that like, I love talking to my friends. Like they kind of get me. Like my family doesn't not get me. They get me on a different level, but right now I kind of need not that level of like, yeah, you've known me since birth. Like I kind of need like people that are kind of on the same wavelength as I am. I feel like my friends totally are. I feel like my family is totally like, everyone's kind of doing their own things, but we're not like too like tuned into one another. So I mean, it's fine, but it's like we all kind of keep a little bit of a distance lately. So it's kind of like I don't really like to talk to them too much about my day-to-day experiences, like a little bit, but it's kind of like I'll tell them like a surface level version of what's going on, but I don't really tell them like too much about how I feel about it or like all this kind of stuff. Like I'm not really like being like too open about it. Just kind of like, yeah, I'm not really liking my job, so I'm taking days off. And that's basically what I was telling my mom today. I was like, yeah, I'm taking some more days off, like, so, just because I don't feel like, going to work, because I did all my work and I'm just not feeling it. I'm overwhelmed, so I kind of told her like that amount, but other than that, I'm just like, I don't really want to talk about it much more than that with them. But I don't know, this all just kind of crept up on me, and I don't think it's for the worst. It's just I gotta try something different, because it's clearly not working. And it's just kind of like I'm kind of having some difficulty just jumping into the next steps I need to do. So I'm kind of working with all the small stuff I have to do and just knocking out one little tiny thing every day, pretty much. At least one, if not multiple. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of what's been going on. Just a lot of PTO. This is going to be the first PTO I've had in a while where I don't have actual like concert plans, or there's no festival, there's no hotels, there's no going to a different city. I'm just gonna chill locally for once, and maybe that's maybe what I need, is just to have a little vacay locally where I'm actually just not leaving. Like, maybe I need that. But yeah, I'm trying not to stay too isolated, and yeah, just doing what I need to do for myself. I'm kind of going through the motions with it, like, but I'm not like, I don't know, like, I'm not saying I don't get sad, but I'm not like necessarily sad. I'm just like over it, if that makes sense, and just kind of frustrated with the slowness on my part. Like, there's a part of my mind or something that needs to just kick itself into gear, and it's not doing it. It's not ready yet. There's a part of me that's just not ready yet, so I'm just kind of waiting for that to actually happen. That's how I am with everything, though. I'll be in a phase where I'm like, okay, this is the shitty phase. This is the transitional phase that's shitty for me. It happened when I was moving too. I was like in the phase where I was like in the hotel, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna move. Like, I clearly have already physically gotten out of that house and made a point that I wasn't even gonna stay in that house anymore. And I don't remember if I was in a hotel for like a week, maybe 2 weeks or something. Like, I was out of the house for like a pretty long time, and only went back to like grab food or clean the fridge or like do a little bit of like throwing away trash and stuff like that. Grab some extra clothes, or like, I don't know if I did some laundry or something. I don't remember, but like just coming back to do stuff that's like convenient for me. But I wasn't sleeping there anymore. I wasn't talking to anybody. I was just like, dude, I'm already like 1 foot out the door. And that's kind of how I feel with work. I'm like, yeah, I'm just kind of doing what I need to do for work. But I'm kind of 1 foot out the door, but I'm not out the door by 1 foot into a direction. Like, with, the move, I was out the door by 1 foot coming to LA. With work, it's like I'm out the door by 1 foot, just like jumping out the door. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. I'm not like jumping into anything specific right now, but I mean, I can. Like I said, I've had stuff that I've been working on for a really long time that's like gained a lot of traction. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, I don't know if that's something I could just like, if I wasn't working 8 hours a day, I could put all that energy into working on this stuff, that's already got traction, because I've been working on it for years at this point, multiple years. But, I don't know if I can organize myself. That's actually one big concern. I do not know if I can regulate my own calendar very long term to keep things as systematic and strategic as they need to be. Like, it's one thing when I'm limited on time and I'm working on stuff in bits and pieces after work or on lunch breaks, because it's fun. It's like, it's not my job. It's stuff that I'm pretty passionate about, but it's a different thing when I'm working on stuff that's like work, or that's like, gonna become a style of work. Because I don't want to hate it, but I don't know. Like, I clearly don't love what I'm doing right now either, as far as work. So it's like, there's no way I could hate it more than what I'm already doing. So that's one way that I look at it. And the other way that I can kind of look at things is like, there definitely is that like fear aspect of like changing into the unknown. Like, I do have options. I did get offered a job that I never even like applied for. This is the second time this has happened. Like, clearly this company likes me, like, it's not, they want me to work for them because I do good work for them, but it's like, I don't really want to. And that was the first time I actually said that to somebody, where I was like, I'm not really feeling this type of work, but I'll consider it for a temporary option if I do decide to jump out of this and just need something. I'll consider it. And so I don't really know. I don't really think I can do that. I don't know. Um, but, one of my friends was explaining something very nicely too. They were saying, like, sometimes we do just need a long break, like it would maybe do me some good to take 4 or 5 weeks off, quit the job, take 4 or 5 weeks off, just kind of like spend a week or a week and a half just kind of not really doing much, spend a few other days of the week just kind of like trying to do some stuff that I need to be doing, and see how that feels, see how it goes. I don't know, the job will always take me back. Any of these sites will now. Like, but I don't want to like be so unmotivated that I am, not doing my job properly, getting into like, bad habits and stuff, and like, I want to just be doing work the way that it's supposed to be done, and not really be like, letting the lack of motivation kind of get in the way of like my performance at work. But yeah, there's a lot going on. It's just like not I was talking to one of my friends saying like, this isn't the chapter that I wrote, like somebody else wrote this chapter and threw it in the middle of the book, and now I'm living out this chapter, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, this isn't part of the plan that I had created for myself. This isn't what I expected. But I also didn't expect to stay in the type of job role that I'm doing. I've always said that, even before I started working in this part of the field. I was initially saying, I don't want to do that kind of work. And if I do, it'll be temporary. And even when I got into it, I was like, I like it, but it is a bit much. And I know it's going to be temporary. Like even the long-term temporary, but it's like temporary, like I'm not going to do this until retirement. I'm going to at least try to do something else. So, yeah, I think I need to just transition into something else. I just need to plan it out a little bit so there's like a game plan. Right now that's what I'm looking towards, is like just quitting with 5 weeks available. Getting a car, driving some Uber for a while, and just giving myself some time to just like think. I'd probably be making less money, but like I said, I got a lot of money coming in new. So, if I didn't have that travel expense going on between LA and San Diego every so often, then, I might be able to see where the traction on other projects is, and like see if I can scale it. But it's like I almost want to scale it before I get there, but it's like I got a lot of writing I need to do that I haven't done, and I'm not going to do it while I'm working this other job. Like, I already know, I've been trying, and it's not there for me. Like, it's just not happening. It's the last thing I want to do. Honestly, I'm just like, I don't feel like doing this. So yeah, I really want to get this stuff launched into another phase, and then once my projects launch into the next phase, regardless of how they're doing, I'll feel better about it. But it's like, it's a lot to multitask, and I don't want to slow down. I actually want to speed up, and it's like this job is holding me back from that too. So I feel like this job's just getting in my way in so many areas, but it's like I kind of have to have it because it's like, the best stream of income I have right now. Like, that's one thing I don't want to give up, even though I don't need this high of a stream of income. That doesn't sound right, but what I'm trying to say is my expenses have drastically changed. Mostly my income is savings right now, and so savings and investments. So, I mean, my expenses are super, super low, other than paying stuff off student loans. Other than that, it's like I'm really, you know, things are fine with that. But I don't know. It's kind of an ego thing too. I don't like the idea of not working. It just feels weird to me. Like I've been there before too. Like when the other economy crash happened and I was graduating from grad school and had trouble finding work. It had people kind of questioning if I was even trying. I remember I had a personal trainer at the gym, and he was like, "Are you even applying to jobs? Like, why is it taking you so long?" And then, I was working with him for like a month. So after like a few weeks, he was kind of like, are you still like, applying to jobs? Like, what's going on? I got a little offended by that. I remember my dad was kind of like trying to make, you know, um, expenses for me to have to pay because it was taking a while for me to have work. So he was just like, yeah, like, I'm going to start making you have to pay like whatever this bill was or whatever, just because, he knew that I'd have to get a job to have to pay it. But it wasn't that I didn't want a job. It wasn't that I wasn't applying or looking. It's just that, I didn't have the experience that they were looking for. I mean, it was in the middle of a recession. And I feel like, I had other friends that were like kind of talking crap, like that I kind of, someone else came up to me and was like, oh, I wish I could have your life and not have to work. And I was just kind of like, actually, buddy, I have 3 jobs, but none of them were like I remember I was teaching a computer class at like these 2 senior citizen kind of like nursing homes. I taught computer classes for them a few days a week. They had computer labs at both of them, so I would teach a little bit a few times a week at those sites. And I remember tutoring. I tutored a lot, English and math, high school English and math mostly. I think I was tutoring like a little bit of calculus, a little bit of trig, a little bit of geometry. Mostly it was algebra and like just, basic mathematics, arithmetic kind of stuff. And a lot of, algebra, pre-algebra kind of stuff. And I remember, I was working I was doing freelance like web design, or it was kind of like logo, web design, business cards, blog for this person who just had no vision of what they were doing, like, and were trying to have me like redo things a lot. And I was just like, I eventually quit because I was like, dude, you don't even know what you want. So like, usually you get 1 or 2 revisions. I'm not going to be coming here every week and like having you stand over my shoulder, like creating like multiple logos and stuff, and then come back. It's like, I literally bought a domain name for this person, because they told me what their company name was. So I got their domain name for them, and, the business cards, the logo, the website, everything was surrounding this business name. And they're like, oh, wait, I want to call my business this now. Like, change the site, like, change the name. I'm like, that's not how it works. Like, if I change your domain name, I'm going to have to change your logo. Like, you can't have, like, say, like, an acronym, like JET for jet. Your company's called JET, jet. And now you're going to change it to, like, SKY for sky. It's like, I want my company to be jet.com. And then they're like, no, now I want it to be sky.com. It's like, now I got to change everything. You can't have like, business cards that say jet.com for your sky.com business. Like, it makes no freaking sense, and it was stuff like that. Like, every week this person was like, oh, do it this way. Oh, I changed my company name again. I'm like, I just wrote all your whole website and blog posts and all this stuff about your company, and you're changing into a different company with a different, different brand, a different, topic altogether. Like, like you were consulting before and now you're nursing. Like, I don't even know what you're doing. Like, and she wasn't even paying me a lot. I think she was paying me like $100 or something, like a session, but it wasn't even an hour. It was like, I don't know if it was 8 hours, but it was like, she would pay for lunch. Me and her family would go out to get like a buffet, and usually I worked for her on weekends. Um, but I was just like, dude, like, so yeah, like I had basically those kind of jobs that I was kind of working a lot of sporadic hours and just mostly kind of like tech-ish stuff. Um, and it kind of was working out, but like it was kind of working out, but um, I was a little bit like, I need something more structured than this. And I knew it was just, because I was applying for grad schools and stuff. I was like, I know that this is like temporary, but those were the jobs I was working. And then somebody came up and was like telling me, like, I went to it was like a church people thing. And like, I went to one of the Friday night things, and somebody was telling me, like, yeah, about like how they wish that they were me because they wouldn't have to work. And I was like, I'm just working 3 jobs. And then the person who had told them that I don't work was like there, and they were just like, oh, I thought you weren't working. And it's like, yeah, well, you don't talk to me, you don't know what I do every day, like you don't know what I'm doing, so you need to keep your mouth shut. Like, I didn't say that, but it was just kind of like, that's kind of the kind of thing that gets me like a bitter taste about like not having work. It's like just having to deal with other people who think they know what's going on. People get really judgmental about it, and it's just kind of like, I'm not trying to deal with that. I don't really want to hear a lot of times what people have to say about that kind of stuff. Like, it's not, like, it's one thing if you need to have a job, um, like, you have stuff that you have to be, you got kids, you got to pay for stuff, like, you need to have a job. I'm kind of not in a position like that where I'm like required to really be paying for a whole lot of stuff right now. But it's also kind of like, I don't know, I don't want, others to be rubbing off on me. So, and like I said, like, I did recently try to reconnect with some people that I was just like, that's just not going to be for me. And so I'm pretty sure, they'll catch wind of things too. Like, they're pretty involved in my life, even if I'm not directly involving them. My parents and their parents are friends. It's like this whole thing where it's like, I can't really distance myself as much as I would prefer. And that's why it was ideal in San Diego, because nobody knew what the fuck I was doing down there. I was just doing what I wanted, and like, people only knew what I told them because they weren't seeing me all the time. I was never really like telling my parents what I was up to all the time. Like, sometimes I would tell them, but they don't care. They don't care if I'm like partying with my friends or whatever I'm doing. Like, they're not like caring if I'm like going out on dates or whatever. Like, they're not like that involved with what I do. And that's fine. Like, I'm not like complaining. I don't need that really. I involve them as much as I feel like I want them involved. We're kind of all like that with each other. We just kind of like tell each other what we want each other to know and what we want to share, and then that's basically it. But yeah, I'm back in a transitional phase, so it's just, just gotta, stick it out, wait it out, as long as I'm making moves, it's gonna definitely change. But yeah, I just don't want to be in that mindset that like if I'm doing these things, I'm trying to do it to like be happy. Like, yeah, the goal was to get rid of all the stuff that's weighing me down, but after that point, it's like, I don't think anything is really gonna like make me happy but myself. Like, I can make myself happy, but there are things where it's like when you're in an environment that's just maybe not for you. Like right now, this job just isn't for me anymore. They haven't done anything directly to me. It's just, you know, um, I just don't need it. Like, part of me is like, yeah, you need a routine paycheck, but it's like, is it really worth all this? And it's not like they're paying me that good anyways. Like, honestly, if I were driving Uber, I would make the same amount of money probably. It's not that good of money. Like, it's good enough to not complain, but it's like, the only reason why it's good is because I don't have a lot of like debts. Like, it's not like all my money's coming out. Like, my money's not all getting siphoned out of every paycheck. So it's like, I get my full paycheck, so, that helps too. So it's like, I'm kind of in an okay place when I look at it with all the things that are like going good, like, credit's going up, some loans are getting paid off little by little. I mean, I got a lot of loans, and so it's, student loans are like a disaster for me because, I went to grad school and just basically went to a professional school after that for like 3 years and was paying all of that through loans. I wasn't working at all at that school. I got a small stipend for like, I think it was 8 months and then maybe about half a year. I think it was like $200 and $100 or $100 and $200, something like that, a month. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been kind of having going on. Every week is like so unpredictable. Like, it's definitely just unpredictable, but I got my car back and stuff, so I'm definitely excited to be getting to the beach and the gym. It's definitely gonna help me get out of the house. Like, I'm liking like that when I get out of the house, it's productive. It's like I like to get out of the house and like do something. I'm like, if I'm wasting my money on gas, I want to go do something. That's gonna like benefit me. Trying to be a little bit more selfish, hence the PTO. Like, I'm really like trying to just be a little bit more selfish with my energy and my space and my everything. It's the only thing that's really like helping me kind of like make sure I'm keeping things as on track as I can. But transitional phases for me create this like chaos kind of in my mind. I'm just like, I start like just gravitating towards something that I'm like, oh, I like this, and like I'll like delve into it, and then just like, it's like, dude, focus. Like, this has nothing to do with anything you're doing. Like, like I'll get like deep into stuff and then want to start like some random project, and I'm like, I got projects already going on that I'm trying to like scale up. I'm not trying to like bring in a new project, but I do tend to do that. Like, if I don't keep track of that's what I'm doing, I will just full blown just be like, oh, like I want to make like, like, I don't know, like loops or something and sell like samples or whatever, like online. Like, yeah, I could do it, but it's like so unfocused. Like, I'm not even trying to do that right now. But stuff like that. So I have to really keep my mind in check. And it's just like there are a lot of good things. I mean, I'm not trying to make it sound like it's all bad. It's just like, the last thing I'm going to say here for right now is like, the way I like to kind of shape things is like have something to kind of ground things and then work things around that. Like, so for example, if I'm podcasting, I can wake up early and podcast, and then after work podcast, and then like, work on some writing and stuff like that, and just kind of like have all that is like something that focuses my day, or like the gym, or like studying something, and just have my mind set in something like that. But like lately, I feel like my main focus has been work is grounding me, and it's not really what I need to ground me because I don't like it in the first place. So it's just, it's just more of a process of like shifting my attention to something else and making that like the main focus, and then everything else is kind of secondary. Make the job more of a secondary thing. So that's what this current PTO process is. And thanks for listening.